A very good Wednesday morning to you. A little bit of a changing location this morning, solely because I'm kind of doing a little bit of work on my desk right now, so no space, but later on there will be. I hope I find you well, and you're watching the Fixed Wing Guide channel with me, Stuart Lomas. Weather today here in Manchester, cloudy, grey, bit miserable, possibility of rain, but it's Manchester. What do you do? Been away for a couple of days, solely really because I've been busy, and not the usual disappearance for the usual reason. What I want to talk about today, this is a reply to, or kind of a reply to Jeffrey MacMahon. Yes, Jeffrey, who is constantly addressing the international watch community, and I do actually quite like that phrase. A couple of days ago I saw a video of his where he talked about the possibility of putting a Wildcard watch within your collection, and if you haven't seen that particular video, have a hunt out for it. It's actually quite an interesting one, because what he's actually talking about is making a complete departure, or certainly a significant departure from where you normally sit in your comfort zone with your watches. So, you know, if you are a dress watch fan, and there must be some out there, then you buy something completely different. If you like all your watches to be tank design or tonneau design, or as most of us are, you know, diver or sports orientated watch collectors. And he was talking about, you know, he showed a few out there that he'd found on the internet that were kind of on the outer fringes of where his collection is. If you know Jeffrey, he likes the big, chunky Seiko and Citizen type, real manly kind of watches. Things that you need to bench press 240 pounds to be able to lift on your wrist. And I found this quite interesting, because I thought about it and I was thinking, well, I kind of try my hardest to have quite a large diversity in the watches that I own. I mean, I own, like all of us, I own 3 divers, I think. I own my Panerai Homage, my Marina Militaire Fiddy. I own my Parnis Big Pilot, which looks like the IWC. I own a couple of Seconda chronographs, but are on mock crop leather, brown leather straps. They are rose gold with a cream dial, so they are kind of dressy. I own one tank watch, which I don't wear often. In fact, my partner's wearing it at the moment and she's fallen in love with it, so I don't really think I'm going to get that back. So I try really hard to open up the doors to all sorts of different shapes and styles and colours. I'm a great one for colours. But I know there are people out there who will buy, you know, they will have all divers in all different shades of blue. Johnny Casual, for instance, he will freely admit he's a blue dial guy. That's what he does. That's what flicks his switch, and that's great, because I would suggest that the majority of diving watches are blue. You know, there's different shades of blue, and that's great, because it means there's lots and lots of choice out there, because obviously you can have a blue dial with different coloured bezels or bicoloured bezels and that kind of thing, and that's great. But leaving your comfort zone for people like us generally is quite difficult, because you find a brand you like, a style you like, a range of complications on a watch that you like, the shape of a crown that you like, the type of bracelet that you like, and so on and so forth. So we kind of cage ourselves in, as it were, to being a one style of watch collector. Now, is that a bad thing? No, I don't think it's a bad thing. But taking that leap to say, right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw a real odd one into the mix now. It's going to be nothing like anything else I have. Now, firstly, I'm going to use a very overword word, and I'm going to overuse it again because I can't think of another word. It's quite brave to kind of do that in any scenario of life. You know, I am going to step outside my comfort zone, and I'm going to buy this. Now, what could the result of that be? Well, my conclusion is, well, is it a conclusion if there's two results? I don't know. Either A, if you are fortunate, you are going to find that you can actually like something else. That something else, whatever that something else is, has opened the door to a new world that you never thought you'd like. You've decided from within yourself you're going to give something else a try. You find it, you buy it, you wear it, and within a couple of weeks you're thinking, that's fantastic. I'm really glad that I made that change, because it showed me something about myself. It has opened the door to a new design genre, as it were, where the watches are concerned. Therefore, it opens up a whole new market to me, because obviously we are aware that there are only so many divers you can buy. Because, you know, let's be honest, they're all kind of the same. You know, sorry everybody, but that's kind of my opinion. You've got, you know, your dial and your unidirectional bezel, and they're either 60 click or 120 click, and they, you know, they're all blue, well, they're all black, and you know where I'm coming from. So you've opened up this whole new regime of buying for yourself. It's a completely untouched sector of the market that you've identified, and I think that can be great because it will set you free to a certain extent. So that's kind of the first conclusion I came to. The second conclusion is not quite as positive. The second conclusion is, are you opening yourself up just to flip it? You know, potentially, if you're a quality dive watch collector, let's say, you're going to have a baseline of, say, £500–600 maybe, if you're looking at, you know, the Steinhardt range, as it were. Up to thousands of pounds if you're going into, you know, the Omega and the Rolex and the Breitling side of things. Now, this side of the conclusion is quite a tricky one, because let's say, for instance, that you talk to yourself by saying, yes, I'm going to try something new. I'm convincing myself that I am going to go out there and put this Wildcard in my collection. So you go out there, and the only ones that you find, let's say you wheedle it down to 2 or 3 watches, and the only ones that you find that actually fit your parameters of quality, that match up to perhaps the other standards that you buy, are all expensive. They're all big money. And you say, right, okay, although I am going to spend lots of money on something I'm not sure about, I am going to do it. I promise myself I'm going to do it. So you shell out this money, and as with the other conclusion, you wear it for a fortnight. But obviously the complete polar opposite applies. After 2 weeks, you think, why did I do this? What is all that about? I don't get this style of watch. I've tried really hard to embrace that there are other things. I was really happy with my diver collection. Why have I done this to myself? So you are immediately looking at potentially ridding yourself of this curse that you've inflicted upon your good name and your good collecting habit. So you start thinking about flipping the thing, but you know, you bought this thing new potentially. So how are you just going to flip it just to get it out of your life? Because you know full well with how fickle the watch market is right now, and how difficult the money market is right now. You're never going to recoup your money. So what do? Do you decide to keep it, put it in your watch box and sell it later, perhaps in the hope that the model you've bought becomes kind of a semi-classic, something that people yearn after, that maybe you can flip it for what you paid for it, or maybe even make a little bit of a profit. Who knows? I kind of fall on the second side, and I know that sounds a little bit glass half empty kind of thing. I do tend to be a glass just half. You know, I never kind of look at life at, you know, life is better than it is or life is worse than it is. I'm the type of guy that looks at life as it is. If life is going badly, I'll do what I can to sort it out. If it's going well, say, great, lovely, I'll sail along with that, thank you very much. I think for me, you're putting yourself in a position potentially where if you go too far out of your comfort zone, and I think that is a risk that people will take, is that they will think to themselves, yes, you know, I am going to make a change, but whilst I'm making a change, I may as well make a fairly big change to see if I can actually break out of this prison that I've made for myself. But the problem is with that, of course, the potential is that you may overdo it slightly, and you will force yourself into buying and wearing something that is just not you at all. So, is throwing a wild card in your collection a good idea? Perhaps not a good idea, perhaps a worthy idea. Why is it worthy? I think it's worthy because it will show you as a collector that you are able and open to new things, new ideas, new styles. Is it a good idea? Well, yes, because it opens up a wider range of the market, because the more and more dive watches, for instance, you buy, the less and less there are out there for you to choose from. Is it a bad idea? Well, it could be a bad idea, but as I've already said, you may push yourself a little bit too far in the yearn to throw a wild card into the mix. Is it something that you will financially suffer from? Yes, possibly. You will shell out something at a fairly large amount of money, because as we all tend to do occasionally, you know, quality equates to price. So you think, right, okay, I will spend a certain amount of money on this, I will therefore get a decent watch. You're then, of course, risking being financially to the bad, because you spent all that money on a watch which is sitting on your wrist, which you are hating every single second about wearing. And of course, then you've got the flip conundrum: what do I do? Can I sell it? Will I get my money back? Is it something that is going to maintain its value, that in the future if I sell it I'm not going to get anywhere near the money I spent? And is it possible that this particular watch will attain value over the time? I don't know. Would I do it? I might do. I might do. I'm fortunate that all my tastes in life are fairly eclectic. I like lots of different things. I like lots of different music, lots of different movies, lots of different television programs, lots of different wines, lots of different foods. My watch collection is reminiscent of that. I've got lots of different styles. The only one that I can say hand on heart that I don't particularly go for is tank or square watches. They don't really do it for me, hence why the only tank watch that I have, which is the only true dress watch that I have, I'm not wearing right now, and I rarely wear it, even when it's not on my partner's wrist. So would I do it? Yes, possibly. Would I make a massive step into the unknown? No, I don't think I would. I would find kind of a halfway house, as it were. Something that I, after thinking about it, would consider that how wrong can it be? If it's halfway house, how wrong can it be? But if you take kind of a wild card to its logical conclusion, would I do that? Would I go right out on a limb? I would go right out on a limb if the deal on a watch was so good, and I like the watch enough to go right out on a limb. Maybe. Anyway, throwing a wild card in the mix where your watches are concerned, good thing, bad thing, dangerous thing. Dangerous thing on a few fronts, actually, and good. thing on a few fronts if you think about it. Anyway, that's it. I say a reply to Jeffrey MacMahon, really. I hope Jeffrey watches this. I think it's a doer. I think it could be a good thing. But you've got to be very careful. Anyway, that's it. Let me know. Jeffrey, if you watch this, comment down below and let me know what you think. And let me know if you decide to go down that route. Anyway, folks, that's it for this one. Sorry I've been away for a couple of days. Busy old time. Any comments, queries, questions, suggestions? Down below as always. If you're new here and you think, oh, it's quite interesting this, have a look at my old stuff. I'm sure there'll be some stuff in there that you'll dislike. I'm sure there'll be stuff in there that you will like. And feel free to subscribe. It will always be great to see you in the list, and I promise, send you a little welcome message when I see your name appear in the list. By the way, folks, I have not been getting refreshes in my subscriber list over the last few days, I've noticed. Has anybody else been noticing that? Let me know. Anyway, as always, I will no doubt get the recommended thumbs downers out there. So if you're liking this video, give it a couple of thumbs up. Who knows? Thank you very much indeed for your time. Thanks for watching. Lovely to speak to you. And I think I might have an idea for another one later today. I'm not too sure. I will speak to you and on. Bye-bye.